First of all, Lillian, just watching this throwing, looks like you throw really hard, which is a fabulous thing, and something that is super needed in softball. Something that just doesn't come very often. So it's kind of cool to see someone at your level, get things right, which is awesome. So we're going to start with your lower body. As you get into this back squat, you're sitting from your hip to your knee about 123 degrees. So as you make that transfer, I might have that back leg step behind that front foot, almost like if you look at outfielders or infielders in baseball, you'll see a little bit of a back foot step behind that front foot. That might help keep you down, because what I really want to have happen is that your back leg squats just a little bit further and gets you down below 110. So we're not talking about a lot, but we're talking about maybe 4 or 5 inches of squat, that your hip needs to stay into that position long enough. What that's going to do is you're going to be able to push harder off of that back leg for a longer period of time and really rotate your hips forward first. So power to the back leg is definitely something that I want you to work on, which leads us into our front knee. Let's look at where your front knee is as you plant. It's actually pretty good, really directional. Over that ankle, not a big movement, and your front leg actually stiffens up really well before you throw the ball, which is awesome. So that's not an issue. Let's look at as you plant. Let's look at where your knee is. It's not bad. 127. It might be a little bit higher than that. Let's get up to your hip. 137. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so that's good. And as you plant into this leg, the only thing that I would see out of your lower half is about 80 degrees, okay? And what that means is that when you drive, you're driving, but you put your front foot down. You could have driven probably another foot, maybe a foot and a half, and this angle of 80 could have been up to 110, and that would have pushed your hips through a little bit better. Because right now, as you're about to throw the ball, watch where your back foot goes. Comes off the ground, off the ground, off the ground. Now you throw the ball. So there's like 2 or 3 frames where your back foot actually comes off the ground and doesn't roll over. So what that means is, for all intents and purposes, I think the best thing that you could do is increase this angle by driving longer. Off the top of my head, 212 squats is going to be a big one for you. Walking torques, walking windups, box drill 1, box drill 2, all of those extension activities of just getting extended with that back leg and keeping that power out of the back leg, that's going to be huge for you. So the double angle at foot strike, that's definitely something that I want you to work on. And that power of the back leg is going to be the vehicle to get it there. So let's move on to the upper body. As you throw the ball, your posture is here. And so I want you to remember that when you're back in here, if your posture is down, all of a sudden now you're going to have to change that posture from here all the way to here. So as you're throwing, you need to make sure that posture, we can minimize it. Maybe from here, start here, maybe with your head in the middle, so I'm not moving too much. And what that does is that change in axis. Okay, what that means is your spine is your axis point, and it rotates around your spine. So if you're constantly changing your axis from here to here, that's decreasing the rotation in your upper body, which is really where the ball, where the velocity goes into the ball, out of your torso. So front leg's fabulous. Back leg could use some work, the things that we talked about. But that posture change is going to be huge. So I want to minimize that as much as I can. So that posture change, you're a B posture. And so kind of lock that in as well as you can. All right. What else? Front glove. Front glove looks pretty firm here as you go up, and that elbow supports that shoulder blade coming in and pinching, and then everything else rotates around it. I like the front glove. I think it's actually pretty legit. Right here, we're going to measure your shoulders off to your elbow. So you have a little bit of an elevated distal humerus, which is a fancy word for your elbow is above your shoulder. And that can create, number one, some potential issues with the elbow. And then number two, it can create some velocity, a decrease in velocity, because with that time, if you just shoved and rotated that elbow forward instead of coming up, that's wasted time. The part of the reason why your elbow is up is because the back leg comes off the ground. And when the back leg comes off the ground, there's no stability on the back leg to drive that torso through. So that back leg, power of the back leg is going to be crucial for you in helping that back arm. So, all right, chest extension, elbow, and let's see here. So high elbow is definitely something that I want you to work on. Let's look at your chest extension here, right here. About 41 degrees, which is pretty good. But it could be better. It could be in the high 40s, close to a 50, because what's happening, if I take a 180 off of this, that back leg should be on the ground. And because you have that back leg bent, before you come through, your hips are not rotating, and that leads to chest extension issues. And it's 41 degrees, but that back leg has a lot to do with it. Let's see here. So if you can keep that back leg straight and rotate that hip through, you're going to have a lot more power. Chest extension is going to increase, and more power out of the ball. Lower elbow, all great things. Are going to happen. Out of that, what else? Now, this is what we call an arm fly out. You have maximum layback here, and that hand goes outside of the elbow. I want to kind of decrease that and push that wrist through a little bit towards the middle. And once you can do that, you're gonna really be able to minimize the leak in energy out of that arm, and then you're going to push it through the ball. So, other than that, I think those are your biggest issues. Power to the back leg. Back leg needs to stay connected to the ground. That's going to help increase the hip rotation and chest extension. You do have a high elbow, and you also have a hand fly out. So those are the weaknesses that I see. You already probably throw very hard, but realize that if you really get down to brass tacks and you get this stuff fixed, you're going to be the best thrower in the world. You know what I mean? I mean, you could be the best softball thrower in the world, because very few people are working to be the best. I mean, I got girls that are in the 70s right now, and it's very impressive. And I know you can get there as well. So thanks so much for sending your video in. I appreciate you being part of 212 Athlete, and I will talk to you soon.